Welcome to That's My Biz, the Internet Business Showcase, where we bring exposure to products, services, and special causes of local businesses and organizations. Thank you so much for joining us. We are coming to you live from the BizLinks TV studio. Brought to you by Southeast Computers, repairs, upgrades, custom builds, and restorations. SoutheastComputersATL.com. Hi everyone, I'm Pamela Alexander, your host of That's My Biz, and as always, we're so excited to bring to you the wonderful businesses and organizations that we meet when we're out there networking, because we really want you to know about them and want you to reach out to them. I have with us today a special guest, Mr. Robb Bingham. Welcome, Robb.
Thank you very much. It's good to be here.
Great. Now, we want to make sure that you all go back and check out this episode in our on-demand archives at www.bizlinks.tv. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/BizLinksTV, because you're going to want to know more and you're going to want to take some notes. So make sure that you go back and check that out. I'm going to tell you a little bit about Robb. He is a learning and communication and change strategist with over 15 years of excellence in the leadership, analysis, design, development, and deployment of groundbreaking learning and performance improvement programs. Now, I know that's a lot, and there's so much more. His company is called Converging Solutions, so I want to dive right in so that we can ask all of those burning questions. But the first thing to ask is, why did you see the need for a company like Converging Solutions?
Yeah, that's a great question, and I guess in layman's terms, I like to tell people what it is that I do. It's a consulting firm that has a niche around communications, learning or training, and performance improvement. So that's what we do. You think of a lot of consulting firms out there that offer consulting solutions. That's our specialty, if you will. The way I got into it was I spent a number of years in corporate America, and as I would work on different projects, I worked as an instructional designer, training manager, a number of different roles, and it always intrigued me how some projects did so well, and some projects just really fell flat. And humbly, if I might offer, it was great, training, always great training that we worked together. Great. But what was interesting is that it could be a senior manager-driven, senior VP-driven project, multi-millions of dollars spent. Spend whatever you need, get this done. We go out and build an amazing piece of training with the ability to really change performance, but the performance didn't change. And then there were other projects that were very limited. We've only got $5,000 for this, and we, by the way, need it done by next week. And just unrealistic expectations, and yet somehow these projects, built on a bootstrap budget, would one of them saved $3.7 million within the first year for the company. So it really had me scratching my head, thinking, there's something wrong here. What is the difference? What are the similarities between these projects that work? And what are the similarities or the behaviors around the projects that don't work? And that's what led me to creating Converging Solutions.
And I love the title, Converging Solutions, because I know with what you do, there's so much behind that. And Converging Solutions is not only the company name, but it's the actual model that you created?
Yes.
Tell us about the model.
Well, Converging Solutions, the model, came out of this pain point where some projects did well, some didn't. I really found, as I did some soul searching about what is my calling, what is my purpose, what am I supposed to do in this world of life and business, and where can I make a difference? And I really love solving problems. And so that was one thing that I kind of hung my hat on. And the other was, I really love working with people and serving people. And I really love helping people solve problems in a way that makes more sense, in a strategic way. And so those were the pieces that kind of came together in a perfect storm, if you will, that led me to create the company. And then more specifically to your question, was that it's the model. The model, I guess, here's the 30-second version. The model really boils down to the projects that work are the ones where the leaders involved in those projects are able to build trust, create value, and drive innovation. And if those three things are happening in concert, from whatever different perspectives, and a lot of times, you think it's got to be the perfect project team. No, it doesn't. It really has to be a team where there is trust, but it doesn't have to be a perfect team. And the disparity between different people's skill sets can actually contribute to a better solution, because if you have a senior VP who's very out of touch with the frontline employees, having a frontline employee on your project can be a lifesaver, because you need their perspective, right? So that's it.
Good. So tell me, what types of, now do you work more with the corporation and the company to help grow these teams, or do you work with actual team members to help them to improve their performances?
Most of the project work that we do is corporate sponsored or business sponsored. And we serve both very, very large clients, and that's what I would call our staff augmentation piece. The large clients are looking, they have a big project of some sort, and they are looking to, they need additional hands on deck. It's for a short period of time, and but they need 50 extra people to help build this initiative. And so they'll get so many developers, so many designers, and that's how we help large businesses in a staff augmentation kind of role. Smaller.
Now, are you helping them find the team members that they need?
Absolutely. Yes, and sometimes that is a 1 or 2 team member solution, and sometimes it's much more, a larger team.
Now, is it a particular industry?
No, it's really cross industry. Across industry.
So what are some of the projects that you've worked with?
Oh, that's one of the other things that I love about it is I'm a lifelong learner. And so working inside of one company for years was really tough for me, because I felt like, okay, I got this.
Got it. What next?
Been to this school. What am I going to learn next? And so I love starting up with a new client. So the range can be anywhere from healthcare to one of my most intriguing projects is what should happen if we were the victims of a nuclear disaster, whether it was terrorism related or a 3 Mile Island meltdown. What would we do with those casualties? And so I was tasked, Converging Solutions was tasked with building a training program. They had all the content put together, but this was a PDF document that was about 30 pages in length. And they literally mailed it out to these 50 different centers across the nation and said, thank you for volunteering to be on the front line should we need you. Here's 30 pages to read, and please fill out this paper assessment and mail it back to us. It was very, very archaic. And so we helped them build an e-learning solution. And part of that e-learning solution was to say, thank you for signing up to serve. Thank you for the difference you make, and thank you for being ready whenever the unthinkable should happen.
Already building that trust and just showing that they already appreciate what it is they're doing before you get into, now this is what you got to do to make it work. So now, in talking about creating this, so you mentioned creating the e-learning platform, what other types of solutions do you all help them come up with that's not kind of the same boring old PDF documents?
It can really range. Another client that I'm working with right now, Deloitte, I'm working on creating an opening plenary session for them. So they will bring all of their team members, many of them in their first or second year of accounting or auditing services. They'll bring them all together for a continuing education course. And they want to make sure that they stay awake. And so they've reached out to say, what could we do that would be motivational, life-giving, and raise the bar for saying, you've made it this far, this is what's next. And so helping put together some of those sessions.
That sounds fun. So it gives you a chance to be creative, because like you always have what I call the fear of boredom, just working on this one same thing over and over again. So like you said, getting in, learning these different types of companies and what they do, and giving them more creative ways to really grow makes a difference. So now you also work with universities, so not just corporations, but you do some work with universities. What do you do there?
This has been a really exciting and life-giving kind of a partnership that has started to develop over the last few years. We've started partnering with 3, 4, I guess it's 4 right now, universities across the country. In Minneapolis, Boise, Idaho, of all places, here in Georgia, University of Georgia, and in Tampa, Florida. These are some programs that have really good instructional design or curriculum instruction programs or learning technologies programs of some sort. And typically these are master's level students that are going back to school to get a second degree. And what happened was, a few years back, I kept running into people networking professionally, and they would say, you know, I'd love to do something in learning and development, but I don't have the experience.
Right.
And I don't even have anything I could put on my resume. But I'm always the one that people go to whenever they want somebody to, you know, to train. So they had it in their blood, but they really didn't have any real project experience. So that got me thinking about ways to help people career transition. And that led me to this partnership with the universities. So what Converging Solutions tries to do is partner with businesses to help them identify internship opportunities. And what's really exciting about this space, and very strategic in nature, is while there are so many large companies that are offshoring so much work, there are people in the States looking for a way to make a difference, looking for a way to learn a new skill, practice their craft, and get better and better. And a lot of times you can work with the universities through, and that's where Converging Solutions really helps, because we provide a coach and a mentor for those interns going through. Interns will be very hesitant sometimes, and begin to, they will be resistant to ask questions, right? They're with their new employee. I don't want to look stupid. I have to know everything, right? And they can't. They can't know everything. So partnering them with a coach or a mentor, they have a safe place to go to ask all the things that they don't know and they shouldn't know, but they won't ask. And then that coach and mentor is a senior instructional designer frequently. They will know how to help them and coach them to make their solution pretty impressive.
So now, and you mentioned in working with them and the internship concept, because I always think of interns as the kind of undergrad college student, you know, whether it's a slightly paid internship or an unpaid internship. But you're really talking about more seasoned college students. You mentioned many of them have master's degrees. So people at that level still do internships?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And a lot of times it's semantics in terms of the word you use. But it is a short-term project of some sort that the client needs help with. And if you think about it, it's just a win-win-win for the university, for the student, and for the business. That's what I call a converging solution.
I love that. I love that concept. Now, I know you're also looking to develop strategic partnerships. So what types of strategic partnerships are you looking to grow?
Well, certainly I'm always looking for additional businesses that kind of get the reason Converging Solution makes sense for them. And one of the ways I guess I ought to call out that Converging Solutions makes more sense than some other consulting firms, our differentiators, if you will, is really when you reach out to a typical consulting firm, you'll get a senior designer for 100 hours to build an e-learning course. Stereotypically, very oversimplified scenario. But what you're doing is you're paying for a senior designer for 100 hours. And there's only about 25% of that job that really needs a senior designer. And the other 75 hours could be done by a more junior person. Converging Solutions helps you blend your teams. So we can actually make those matches. It's not always an intern, but it's a more senior level person and or junior level person, or it's an instructional designer partnered with a developer. A lot of times they will try and hire in a contractor, they can do it all. You're going to pay more for someone who can do it all.
Okay.
And honestly, they're not going to do it as well oftentimes. Two different people that are each working in their specialty and their passion.
Right. So now, in your role, how involved do you get with the companies, or are you really just finding them and partnering them with the different senior developers and the different positions that you're talking about?
It depends on the client. These days, more and more of my time is spent in the learning strategy into things. So I'm really able to partner with, again, back to Deloitte. One of the things I'm doing with Deloitte is working with their training team. They know that there are a bunch of auditors that have found themselves in training land. They weren't trained in adult education, but they are tasked with that activity. But they have a deep specialty in audit. And so they work with me from a learning strategy perspective to kind of say, okay, so we think this is a decent solution. What else could we do to make it more engaging and more intriguing and more inviting for our learners to come back? I love that work.
Good.
It's fun.
So we have two different types of audience members that we want you to talk to. One, let's start with those who may be potential staff that would work with their companies. Tell everyone who you're looking for and how they can reach out to you for that.
So clarifying question, which companies?
The individuals that may be looking to have you partner or bring them in to work with the companies that you may be working for.
Yes. Typically that's going to be a learning or communications director or VP of some sort that has a special project that needs to be completed. You don't have the internal resources in order to be able to build out that activity or that project internally. In that case, you need to reach out and solicit external resources of some sort. That's a prime area for us to partner together.
Okay, fantastic. And for those people, who are the resources that you can help them find?
Well, that may be what I just answered. But the other question, I guess, to be answered is, if you are one of these resources and you're looking for a firm to partner with, then Converging Solutions, what makes us different or better from your perspective and from the client's perspective is that we are a 100% virtual organization. No brick and mortar, no overhead at all. Other than the cost of software and things like that. So very, very minimal. As a result, and the other thing is, we are very committed, and I'll be very transparent about margins. We have $10 to $15 per hour margins compared to some of the big firms, which have, it's scary what some firms mark up. It's $40 to $100 an hour markup on another contractor's work. And I just don't think it's ethical. But understood that they have huge, they have a lot of overhead. We don't.
You don't, right.
So one of the things that we are able to do as a result is offer our clients lower rates for going direct with Converging Solutions and offer our consultants higher rates. And I just try to play the matchmaker.
That's a great selling point right there. I tell you, that's another big differentiator.
It saves thousands.
Absolutely, absolutely. And companies I know are looking for that today. And there's a lot of very skilled people out there these days, and that's what they're competing against. So definitely, everyone, we want you to make sure that you reach out to Robb and see if there's some opportunities based on the products that you may have going on or coming up. Now, before we leave, I want to ask you, where do you see things going in the next 5 to 10 years with training and communication?
We certainly have a list of goals for the business, including right now we have expanded over the past year from the Minneapolis market where we started out to the Atlanta market. We are in the process of adding Florida into our next new market. And then from a leadership perspective, I am in the process of figuring out the right timing for, we talked a little bit about communications, learning, and performance, right? each of those areas need to have their own senior leader.
Okay.
Responsible for the specialties in those 3 areas. That's somewhere down the road.
Okay.
All that said, quite honestly and transparently, I am a person of faith. And one of our core principles is that all things work together for good for those that are called according to His purpose. So, as such, we are very blessed to be a debt-free organization. We are very committed to staying a debt-free organization. We've grown gradually over the years, last 10 years, and we will continue to grow as we are supposed to. I find it's more important to learn how to listen to be a good leader than it is to try to get everybody to listen to you by saying I'm the leader. So it's a balancing act there, and that's a kind of backwards way to answer the question, but it's, I think, the right way to answer it.
And I like that because, I mean, you said a whole lot in that statement, and as a matter of fact, throughout another differentiator for your company and why people should reach out to you, like you mentioned at the beginning, the know, like, and trust factor. I think you got that across. If not, you all need to rewind and go back and listen again, because there was a lot that was said in that particular statement, and we appreciate that transparency with what you shared. You know, like you mentioned, where businesses are going, a lot of companies are trying to grow fast, they're trying to build fast, they're trying to tell everyone, you know, who they are and why they should work with them. But like you said, you're really letting what you do and your growth and your results speak for themselves. So we truly appreciate that. Before we go, tell everyone how they can get in touch with you.
Best way to get in touch with me is through our website, www.convergingsolutions.com. Or you can always look me up on LinkedIn and connect that way. When you do so, please just indicate the purpose of connection. I really value meaningful connections, and but I'm happy to make a connection. And I am the only Robb, R-O-B-B, Bingham out there, so it should be pretty easy to find. Located now in the Atlanta area.
Fantastic, Robb. We certainly appreciate you coming out and joining us today. And everyone, I hope you wrote that down too. He just gave us some really good tips, because with LinkedIn, you know, it's important, it's a great tool, but tell people why. Don't just click the button and say you want to connect. Tell them why you want to connect. What is that? What's that? How can they work with you? How they can help you? What they're bringing to the table in addition to what they may be looking for from you. So I love that. Make sure that you take notes about that as well.
And some of the apps, we get it. You know, some of the apps, you hit the button and it's gone.
Exactly.
And it's just, I want to connect. I want to connect.
Yeah.
I get that. That happens, but when possible.
Exactly. Be strategic. Definitely be strategic. Robb, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely, everyone. I'm Pamela Alexander with BizLinks TV Network, and with That's My Biz, we want to make sure that you go back, watch the archives at www.bizlinks.tv. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us some thumbs up. If you have any feedback, comments that you want to share with our guests, please certainly do that. We'll make sure that we get that information to Robb as well. Also, make sure that you connect with us on Facebook at facebook.com/BizLinksTV. Remember, we want to expose your business to the world. Thank you for joining us. Today's show can be viewed on demand on our website at www.bizlinks.tv. If you are interested in having your products, services, or special cause showcased on our program, submit an inquiry to that'smybiz@bizlinks.tv. In addition, information on advertising and hosting your own show can be found on our website at bizlinks.tv.